Good evening. This is the Sunday, May 20th, or actually it's Monday, May 28th. I neglected to be on yesterday because I had an emergency that came up, so I apologize for that. But we'll resume tonight. Normally we'll be on Sundays though. Today I'm going to talk about some of the basic foundations of health, just as a kind of a starting place. There's a world of confusion about what defines health. It's more than just the absence of disease. It's about a sense of vitality and lightness to the being itself. The health is multifaceted and bio-individual. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. A diet is typically doomed to failure. It requires specific changes in lifestyle to obtain lasting results. Optimum health requires support in a number of vital areas in your life. We like to refer to these as the pillars of health, the absolute foundation to vitality. If any of these pillars are not well supported, the whole system is stressed and destabilized. I will touch on all the pillars throughout this course, but we'll begin with the focus on a couple of them that influence all the others. There's a great deal of overlap in many of them. My mentor, Dr. Rita Marie Loscalzo, has condensed the pillars to the following 7 categories: fun, rest and relaxation, exercise and movement, environment, diet, outlook, and mindfulness. If you use those as an acronym, it becomes freedom. And that's kind of the way we like to see it. The body has a sense of freedom. It's necessary to eliminate things from our environment that continue to stress our body, and that will be my greatest focus in these talks. But that certainly doesn't discount the need for strengthening the other pillars. The one most sorely neglected is actually fun, and I encourage you to seek out what brings you joy and incorporate that in your life on a regular basis. Pencil it in on your calendar. Sleep is one extremely important component to health and is very often below par. Addressing some of the other components will have a dramatic influence on your sleep. The time that your body desperately needs to heal is when you're asleep. I will definitely focus on some of the environmental influences that optimize your rest too. Our bodies are designed to move, and many problems can be addressed with just simple exercises such as regular walking, and moving and stretching modalities such as yoga are also very beneficial. You can certainly blend that with the fun pillar. It does not need to be a drudgery. I intend to explore belly dancing, which certainly covers both pillars. I encourage you to explore burst training as well. Environment is a very broad category, and I will focus there in the next talks extensively. Diet as well is very broad and individualized pillar, and I will bring as much information as possible to you. There's a tier to approaching that category. Obviously, it's very individual for every person, and unless you do a lot of testing to know your genetics and other health issues, you know, it has to be individualized. So there's no one size fits all in diet. And I don't even like the word diet. It's about your everyday lifestyle habits. And lastly, outlook and mindfulness kind of overlap with fun, and they address the emotional detox as well. And we'll certainly dive in there as well as the need rises. That's kind of the basics of what we're going to start with the pillars. One of the categories, as I said before, that I've really become passionate about too is the environment. And some of the things that are in our environment that we kind of take for granted are doing a lot of harm to us. They develop free radicals in the body and create all sorts of problems downstream with stress. And again, linking that with sleep is a very important thing, because if you've got some of these things in the environment, they're going to interfere with your sleep. And sleep is when your body repairs. So it's essential that that be taken care of and looked at. There's so many things in the environment to deal with, and I can't cover them all in one talk, but from the chemicals that are in environment for body, treatments and skin care and bathing, shampooing, all those kind of things. And then your cleaning supplies, going through that and eliminating a lot of the toxic chemicals that are in our environment. Some of the outgassing from furniture, from things that you bring into the house. There's just a world of things to go through. And I certainly don't want to overwhelm you with all that at this point. The one that was most dramatic for me recently was more about the electromagnetic fields, specifically the electricity in your home. Most people have heard a little bit about EMFs, and electromagnetic fields that influence our body through things like cell phones and Wi-Fi and appliances and things like that. And the best and only way to really address that is avoidance. And that's pretty much impossible in the world today. So limiting the exposure to them and the distance that you are from them are the best things that you can do. There's a lot of products on the market that are supposedly shielding you or protecting you or changing the frequencies and all that. And it's really impossible to discern what's really working and what's not. I mean, you could use all of them, but there's no guarantee that it's really helping. There's a lot of shielding materials that are effective. Usually it's a mesh of some material that has silver or copper wire or something in it that works like a Faraday cage. And there's limits to that too. And everywhere you go, there's Wi-Fi and cell phones around you all the time. So we walk around in a sea of it. What I can only tell you is to try and eliminate them during the bedtime hours, because that's when your body needs the rest. Just consider your bedroom sacred space and try to eliminate things from that area that can influence your sleep or your health. First of all, make sure there's no air fresheners or scented things, scented candles, things like that in your environment, because most of those are very toxic. They're neurotoxins. You want to make sure there's no electronic equipment in your room. Take the TV and stereo and computer out of your room. Take it in the other room. Make that, like I said, sacred space. And if you do have something in there, at least 6 foot away from the bed. Even something as innocuous as a baby monitor or a cell phone or something that you use as a night, as your alarm clock, put it on the other side of the room if you have to. Baby monitors are really high, give off very high levels of EMFs. But even if you go to all the diligence of removing all those kind of things in the environment and make sure the room is very dark, you don't have any LED lights or night lights or anything like that that are intruding, because they interfere with the melatonin production in your body and can interfere with your sleep. But there's another topic that I became aware of called dirty electricity. And I urge you to do some research on it. There is a book out there called Dirty Electricity. One of the things that is very helpful for most people to kind of discharge some of the static electricity that we accumulate each day is something that people refer to as grounding or earthing. And it's become a whole industry. And there are a lot of products out there that you can put on your bed or sit on or put your computer, you know, all sorts of things that you plug into an outlet. If you take it out and you put it to a grounding rod outside, that's the preferred way. But most of them that they sell have a cord that plugs into the grounding part of your socket in your wall. And in a perfect world, that would be awesome, and it would discharge, and you'd be dealing with a lot of the free radicals in your body, and it's basically an antioxidant to do that. Walking around outside barefoot is the best way to do it, and I encourage you to do that every day whenever you get a chance. One of the problems with the earthing mats and grounding pads and things of that sort is whatever is in your electrical current is going to feed back into your body. And I experienced that firsthand, and it was very scary. And so there are meters out there that you can use to measure the dirty electricity in your house. And there are filters that you can use. Sometimes it needs some remediation. One of the big offenders for what produces the dirty electricity is dimmer switches and things with alternating controls on them. I had one particular switch box that had 6 dimmers on it, and the dirty electricity it put out was just over the top, and I could not reduce it. And literally it fed back into the rest of the house, and I could feel it coming up through the earthing pad. And that's why I tell you, don't use those earthing mats until you're sure that you have the dirty electricity remediated. You may have to, involve an electrician to kind of clean up some of your wiring if there's a problem there. But at least there are filters in the wall that you can plug in that will help a great deal. And it took about, well, it varies with the size of your house. It took about 16 filters to do my house. But with this particular meter, it's very helpful to know exactly what you need and where to put them. And so I highly encourage that. I do offer that service as well. If you're interested, you can certainly contact me. But it is something that I am very passionate about getting that information out. There's a lot of people who will negate that because they have a vested interest in, selling a lot of these products. But my goal is to find ways to make people feel better. And I know dramatically, I felt a difference. I slept better. There is a major difference that you can feel from doing that kind of work. So in the field of environment, I think that is a big piece that's been overlooked. I think all the electromagnetic field issues today are going to be the tobacco problems of past decades. And there's a lot of vested interest in not getting that information out. And I encourage you to do your own research and find your own information out and follow the money, because there's a lot of industries that depend on all this. And most of the things that are harmful to us are very convenient and happy and fun. And, we enjoy them. They entertain us. But there's always a dark side to everything. And so you have to kind of weigh and measure and try and at least reduce the risk as much as you can. I hope that's helped a little bit with just, some of the information to start with. And I look forward to getting some feedback from some of you on what you'd like to know about. And because I really love to answer questions. I don't operate as a medical professional in this realm. I don't diagnose or treat in this media. But I can certainly give you some guidance and give you some, stories I've heard or things I've experienced myself, and over the course of the years that I've researched this. So please contact me, and if you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to put them in the box. And again, if you haven't already, please join my Facebook and like and join, friend me, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I appreciate it. And I'll try to be back on next Sunday at 7. The latter part of June, I'm going to be out of the country, so I may not be able to do talks at those times, but I'll be back in July. So I enjoyed talking with you, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you.